Well, welcome back to the National Aquatic Centre for the medal ceremony for the men's water polo, which concluded round about 40 minutes or so ago. Another fascinating tournament over the last 4 or 5 days, and we finally have our 3 medal winners. Final match, which really decided the destination of the gold medal, was something of a one-sided affair, but earlier on Indonesia beat the Philippines to clinch their spot in second place with a silver medal. They briefly were at the top of the table. We wonder what response we'd get from Singapore after that 4-4 draw with Indonesia, the first time they'd actually been held in this competition since its inception. But the answer was they responded brilliantly to beat the host nation Malaysia by 17 goals to 4 in the final match. Our medal presentation party about to get things underway. This time yesterday it was the Singapore women's team that were on the podium picking up a silver medal. And male counterparts have gone one better. It's Singapore's 5th gold medal of these championships. They picked up another couple of golds this morning in the wushu. And in terms of team sports, the women's netball team take on Thailand this afternoon as Singapore look to continue towards their target of potentially 52 gold medals, which would be their best on foreign soil,
Ladies and gentlemen,
having picked up 84 in 2015 in their own country. So for the first time in 12 years, Malaysia get themselves a medal. A bronze medal, beaten heavily, as we say, in their final game, 17-4. It was the third quarter from Singapore that really killed them. 7 goals without reply. But even then, their coach was telling them to be proud of their achievements in winning a medal. Missed out in 2015. It was Thailand that took the bronze. This time it's the host nation that can make their way onto the podium. Very well supported here today, the home team, as you can imagine. Nice to see that plenty of their supporters have hung around for the 35-40 minutes or so it's taken just to get the podium and everything ready for the presentation ceremony. The medalists will also be presented with the mascot, the Malaysian tiger named Rimau, and souvenir from the 29th Southeast Asian Games. Apparently he's described the tiger as being gracious, friendly, competitive and athletic. And of course each of the medalists will also receive the One Medal, One Tree initiative as well. The bulb will be planted at the tropical rainforest in Gerik, northern Perak, and the tree planting programme aimed to balance out the game's carbon footprint to create a collection of rare and endangered trees. So it will be a sight to see in a few years' time once those start
Indonesia
taking root. And Indonesia and Malaysia rather are your bronze medal winners in the men's water polo. Now it's the turn of the Indonesians, who had such a great tournament. So they nearly caused a big shock by beating Singapore a couple of days ago. Singapore needed a late equaliser to come back in that one. It's 52 years since Singapore were last beaten in this tournament, back in its old format, but since it was reinvented they've gone unbeaten. But as they did in 2015, it's the Indonesians that take the silver medal. Beat the Malaysians in their opening match 4-3.
Richie Julia, Rian Rinaldo, Zainal Arifin, Novian Dwi Putra.
It's actually quite strange to think the tournament officially gets underway today, or certainly the opening ceremony last night, and these guys have already finished their campaigns, with the water polo starting a few days early. I'm sure they'll be hanging around maybe to cheer on their fellow countrymen and women in the events that ensue over the next 13 days or so. Of course, plans for all these medalists start turning towards the Asian Games in Jakarta in 2018. So there are your silver medalists from the water polo, the team from Indonesia.
Ladies and gentlemen, gold medalist and SEA Games champion, Singapore.
SEA Games champions is something that has been said on 26 previous occasions to Singapore, as they take yet another gold medal.
Presented by
Lee Jitandaran, the substitute goalkeeper, came on near the end. Lo Jiji, the captain, scored 3 goals in that 17-4 win. Brian Ong was also on the score sheet as well. Goals from all around the pool for Singapore. Yu Junji, who came on, the 18-year-old, late on, and also got his name on the score sheet. Yip Yang was one of the standout performers across the whole tournament, as was the next man, Ko Jian Ying, who found the net 5 times in the final match. And the goalkeeper, who made some important saves early on, Lee Kai-yang, completing the 13-team lineup, or 13-man lineup for Singapore. Dejan Milakovic, their coach, will be working with them, continuing to watch their progression. already targeted a 4th place finish at the Asian Games next year, which would be one better than they managed in 2014 when they were 5th out of 7 in the men's water polo competition. For several of those players, it's a chance to add yet another goal to the medal collection. Your Southeast Asian Games gold medal water polo winners, the team from Singapore. And the final formality, of course, will be to play the Singapore national anthem.
Singapore.
So plenty of Singapore fans have also stayed around to see the gold medals presented, and Singapore once again can celebrate being on top of the podium at a Southeast Asian Games. 4 matches played, 3 wins and a draw. Worthy winners on goal difference, not quite as clear-cut as they would have liked after that draw with Indonesia, but a victory all the same. So Singapore take the gold, Indonesia the silver, and Malaysia the bronze. And that concludes the men's water polo at this year's competition. They can go off and celebrate, and plenty more gold medals I'm sure will be coming, but all those nations' way over the next couple of weeks or so.